Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys visit with controversial college star, weigh NFL draft risk. The NFL Scouting Combine is underway this week, giving teams a first-hand look at many of the coveted prospects that will hear their names called in the 2025 NFL Draft. Surprisingly, this has proven a pretty active week for the Dallas Cowboys. The team has not finalized any moves, but Stephen Jones vocalized some of the team's plans earlier this week. Those revelations introduced a new theme for the offseason: selectively aggressive. It is a reshaped perspective from the hapless all-in approach coined this time last year, but Dallas has somewhat delivered on it. Our Mike Fisher reported for CowboysCountry.com this morning that the team is working toward re-signing Osa Odigizua after many thought he would hit free agency in a few weeks. Again, these developments are set in stone, but hint at a reshaped approach from the front office. That would be a welcome sign, not only because of the organizational failures of the 2024 season, but also makes sense for a coaching staff shifting its philosophy. Brian Schottenheimer and staff have emphasized the need for a physical style implemented ahead of next season. A perfect place to start is on the defensive line. Returning Osa is a great start there, but even if he signs his name across the dotted line, there is much work to be done in this area. Motzie Smith is the only other defensive tackle under contract heading into next season, and the team may not be so patient to see their former first-rounder finally figure it out. If the Cowboys decide to prioritize this area, Ole Miss defensive tackle Walter Nolan III is a more than viable option, at least in terms of raw talent. Nolan shined with the Rebels last season, finishing first-team All-America and first-team All-SEC. He possesses elite athleticism that not only provides him a burst on the snap, but also a physical presence that can move opposing linemen and impact the run. Nolan is a younger player, so there are some concerns there as he fills out the rest of his game. And there is something else, a report that some teams have removed Nolan from their boards altogether due to the behavioral concerns charge that has followed him since high school. Is the charge accurate? Is the criticism fair? That's Dallas' job to find out, to weigh the supposed risks, which is a key reason as to why they are interviewing him in Indianapolis at the NFL Scouting Combine. Having said all of that, a recent mock draft projected him to Dallas at number 12, but he is currently being graded out as a late first-rounder, meaning that placement could be a bit of a reach for the Cowboys. However, if Dallas manipulates the draft and trades back, they could look at selecting him later on night one and add to their assortment of picks for this year's draft. The Cowboys have a number of options for their first pick in the draft. But if they find a way to grab a player like Nolan and pair him with Osa, Cowboys fans will likely not voice many concerns about their defensive front heading 2025 season. Cowboys coaching candidate just dropped dream trade target in Dallas lap. The Dallas Cowboys only interviewed for candidates for their head coaching vacancy after they decided to part ways with Mike McCarthy. That sham of a process is largely why the fanbase was hesitant for Dallas to pull the plug on McCarthy. They knew the Joneses wouldn't conduct a proper search. When all was said and done, the team didn't even bother interviewing top candidates Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Of the 4 candidates the Cowboy interviewed, they were familiar with 2, Brian Schottenheimer and Kellen Moore. One hadn't been a head coach in 12 years, Leslie Frazier, and one just compiled a 20-36 record in 3+ years as a first-time head coach, Robert Saleh. It wasn't revealed until after Schottenheimer got the job that Dallas had interest in Mike Vrabel, who was hired by the Patriots. The only problem? Vrabel was the first candidate to come off the board, and the hire happened while the Cowboys were still mulling McCarthy's future. That really hammers home how unserious the process was, but we digress. Schottenheimer looks the part of a strong hire early on, and Vrabel has just handed him a dream trade target to help him hit the ground running in year 1. With the defensive-minded Vrabel installing a new scheme, the Patriots have given defensive tackle Davon Godchaux permission to seek a trade, per NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. The insider added that New England has been in contact with interested teams, so this could resolve itself sooner rather than later. Simply put, Dallas better be one of the interested teams. As a run-stuffing defensive tackle, Godcho would be a perfect complement to stud 3 technique Osa Odigizua, who is among the best pass-rushing DTs in football. The Cowboys are working to re-sign Odigizua, an impending free agent, after he led all interior defenders with 14 quarterback hits last season. Godcho is excellent at collapsing the pocket and plugging gaps against the run. It's game over when he gets his hands on a ball carrier. According to Next Gen Stats, Godcho converted 94.4% of his tackle opportunities in 2024, the second highest rate at the position. A former fifth-round pick of the Dolphins who turns 31 in November, Godcho is under contract through the 2026 season. He has a palatable cap hit of $8.33 million next season, followed by a tidy $11.83 number the following year. Given Godcho's age and that the Patriots are eager to shop him, he can likely be had for as little as a fifth-round pick. Wouldn't you know, the Cowboys have 3 fifths this year. Even if Vrabel wants a 5th and a 7th, Dallas should not balk. Myles Garret sends powerful, slam-the-door-shut trade message to Cowboys. How serious are the Dallas Cowboys about making an aggressive move toward adding a defensive line bookend to Micah Parsons? Cleveland Browns edge rusher Myles Garret just made a decision that should help Cowboys Nation find out. Garret, 29, was the number 1 pick of the 2017 NFL Draft. He is a 4-time All-Pro and has been a loyal citizen in Cleveland. But he's tired of going nowhere and has asked the Browns to trade him. Given his status as a legendary player in Browns history, Cleveland has made overtures toward keeping him happy by suggesting a contract extension. His reported response? Garret is not open to a contract extension from the Browns. In fact, reporter Mary Kay Cabot writes he has slammed the door on negotiations. That is a powerful message sent not only to the Browns, but also to other bidders. His point? This is about more than money. Can his hometown team, he grew up in the shadow of AT&T Stadium in Arlington, be a bidder? Absolutely. Garret has 2 years left on his contract, with cap hits of about $20 million in each. The message aside, we bet a new contract will likely be part of the package, wherever he lands. This process began at the start of February with Garrett's announcement. While I've loved calling this city, Cleveland, my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent, Garret announced. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton, it has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I have requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. Frustrated with the Browns, still drafting in the top 5 nearly a decade after taking Garret with the first pick in 2017, the superstar has suggested he needs to see a reasonable path to success. Is a shocking Garret trade likely? He's an all-world player at the height of his powers. It'll be costly to get him. Meanwhile, after an underwhelming 7-10 campaign, are the Cowboys seen as a Super Bowl team? Garret has a pristine reputation and, like Dallas Parsons, who has reached out to him, is a perennial Defensive Player of the Year finalist. He has foot injury issues that his prospective new team will want to examine. But for a team with Super Bowl dreams? Now that he has requested a trade from the Browns and has shut the door on them, clubs such as the Cowboys, who can create $100 million in cap room as needed, can do more than just dream. And you fan? What do you think of Myles Garrett's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.